Welcome to the Soualichi Stories series, presented by the Foresee Foundation and funded by the Prince Bernhard Culture Fund. The Soualichi Stories series includes our island's most beloved legends, as told by some exceptional Sint Maarten storytellers. The Foresee Foundation is honored to share these stories during the time of social distancing because stories can bring us together. We listen to these stories and we all share in the experience. They bring us close together at a time when distance keeps us all healthy. These stories unite us. They remind us of our heritage, our culture, our one island. Through these legends, we hope you feel more connected to our one island, our culture, and most importantly, to each other. Please enjoy this Soualichi story, as well as all the stories in the series. And let us know if there is a particular story you might like to hear in the future. Enjoy.
Years ago, before your time, before my time, before any granny time, before any lizard time, my uncle Leonardo Blah Blah went up the tamarind tree one evening to sleep. Uncle Blah Blah, you see, is a grown lizard. Normally, he would make his bed in a nice cool hole in the ground, but this night, he felt adventurous. Evening had fallen and he did not want to dig another hole to sleep. So he made his bed and a nice soft pillow with the leaves from the tamarind tree as a blanket. While he was preparing to sleep, he overheard the asthmatic husband, who was blind, and his wife Elizabeth talking. He paid no mind to the conversation, as he had worked hard after looking for food all day and gotten into a couple of ruffles too. So Uncle Leonardo Blah Blah, well, he went fast asleep. Elizabeth told her blind husband that they were living in hard times and she had nothing to prepare the soup for him as there wasn't any relish. In the Caribbean, we call relish meat. The husband proceeded to say, "Time is hard," he acknowledged. He said, "My darling, Elizabeth, cook whatever you like." In those days, people cook underneath the tamarind tree. Elizabeth went outside with her coal pot to cook. She put in the coals, she lit the fire, she put on the pot with peas, put some seasonings and other waxed nuts such as carrots, some corn, cantaloupe, and some garden fresh tomatoes to give it some flavor. But where did this cooking take place, you may ask? Right under Uncle Blah Blah tamarind tree. Uncle Blah Blah started to feel hot and hotter and hotter, and the tree got wet and wetter and wetter, and he woke up and he started to run, but the steam from the coal pot stopped him from seeing where he was going. Remember, the tree was wet, and what happened next? He slipped, he tripped right into the coal pot of soup from Miss Elizabeth. After Elizabeth had finished cooking the soup, she shared and served her husband the soup. You remember? He was blind. While the husband was eating, he said to his wife, "Elizabeth, you told me that you did not have any relish, but this soup tastes so good. I know I'm blind, but I know a good relish when I eat one." Elizabeth went to check the soup and discovered that it was a ground lizard that fell out of the tamarind tree into the soup. Elizabeth never told her blind husband how Uncle Blah Blah ended up in the soup.
Poor blind man, poor blind man. You see the lizard, you see the lizard. He slipped and he fell in the pot of soup. Did you ever have such a brew? Poor blind man.
But she did not know that right next door, Newsy Iguana Iguana saw everything that happened to Uncle Blah Blah. He told my great grandmother, who told that story for the husband as the ground lizard soup cured his asthma. All one have to do is catch a lizard and make a good relish and asthma cure. As this tradition has been passed down through generations and generations, the story went up and it came down and the story done. Poor blind man, poor blind man, youth is the lizard, youth is the lizard, poor blind man.
We hope you enjoyed this inspiring Sint Maarten legend, Soualichi Stories, as presented by the Foresee Foundation and funded by the Prince Bernhard Culture Fund, in the hopes that these stories help all of you feel a bit more connected to this island and to each other. More information on the stories and schedule can be found on Foresee Foundation's Facebook page or website. We look forward to connecting with you again soon for our next Soualichi story.